In recent developments, a long-standing family feud has unfolded on the global stage, with Lee Hsien Yang, son of Singapore's founding Prime Minister Kuan Yew, accusing the Singapore government of repressive policies and a shift away from his father's legacy. Now residing in the UK under political asylum with his wife, Lee Hsien, Lee Hsien Yang claims he left Singapore to escape what he describes as targeted government actions. But could there be more to this? The government has responded with a strong rebuttal, labeling Lee's allegations as a personal vendetta turned into an international smear campaign against his own family, his father, and Singapore as a whole. What do you think is really driving this dispute? Lee Hsien Yang's criticism centers around what he sees as a decline in governance and freedoms in Singapore since the passing of Kuan Yew in 2015. In a recent interview with the Associated Press, Lee Hsien Yang alleged that the government employs legal tools to stifle dissent, claiming that defamation suits, financial penalties, and surveillance are used to suppress political opponents. His accusations specifically target his estranged brother, Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, whom he says has endorsed policies that restrict freedoms of speech and assembly. He went as far as to describe Singapore's democracy as a thin veneer. In response, the Singaporean government categorically denied these accusations. Officials released a statement calling Lee Hsien Yang's remarks an attack on his father, his family, and his country. The government highlighted that while Lee Hsien Yang may now support opposition from abroad, he and his family have nonetheless benefited from Singapore's growth and prosperity over the years. They even noted that he joined an opposition party in 2020, which the government argued shows that Singapore allows democratic freedoms. Do you think that being able to join an opposition party while criticizing the government really indicates freedom of speech? Adding fuel to the fire, Lee Hsien Yang claimed in his asylum application that government actions were taken to prevent his son, Lee Hsien from entering politics, an assertion the government disputes, pointing out that Hsien has never expressed a desire to pursue a political career. The government maintains that Lee Hsien Yang's criticisms are based on personal grievances rather than genuine concerns about Singapore's governance. Interestingly, Lee Hsien Yang's remarks have sparked considerable debate among Singaporeans. On social media, public reaction to the government's rebuttal has been mixed, with many questioning the portrayal of this as a purely personal vendetta. Public comments show skepticism about state media's role in reporting this dispute, with some commenters criticizing the government's use of state channels to discredit Lee Hsien Yang. Human rights lawyer M. Ravi noted that the government's assertion that Singapore is not repressive is ironic, arguing that such a vigorous public response actually highlights a lack of tolerance for dissent. Could this reaction be seen as a reflection of Singapore's stance on political opposition? The family conflict traces back to the disagreement over the fate of 38 Oxley Road, Lee Kuan Yew's family home. As the executor of his father's will, Lee Hsien Yang has pushed for the demolition of the house, in line with his father's stated wishes, a move the government has opposed. This disagreement, which some suggest is the root of the current tensions, has raised questions about the government's motivations. Many Singaporeans reportedly support Lee Kuan Yew's wish for the house to be demolished, adding to the public's questions about why the government is taking a contrary stance. What's your take on this? Should the government honor Lee Kuan Yew's wishes, or does the historical significance of the house warrant preservation? The government also took the opportunity to address specific incidents raised by Lee Hsien Yang, including a 2023 money laundering investigation that saw 3 billion Singapore dollars in assets seized, and connections to the 1MDB and Keppel offshore and marine scandals. They stressed that Singapore's anti-corruption measures are robust, citing recent legal actions and parliamentary reviews as proof of their transparency and accountability. Highlighting Singapore's high rankings on global transparency indices, the government referenced the recent indictment of a former cabinet minister as further evidence of its commitment to combating corruption, regardless of the individual's status. But does this emphasis on legal measures really address Lee Hsien Yang's concerns, or is it a deflection from broader questions about democratic freedoms? This escalating dispute has placed Singapore in the spotlight, inviting questions about its governance, transparency, and treatment of political dissenters. At 22:30, we'd love to know your thoughts. Is this a family feud blown out of proportion, or is there a deeper issue at play? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this coverage insightful, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, where we delve into important stories shaping the world today.